let's tackle day 10 of Advent of Code. Today we will be working with a topographic map, and we are given heights of positions on a scale from 0 to 9, so something like this. And our goal is to determine a good hiking trail that is as long as possible and has even gradual uphill slope. So basically you start at 0 and want to end at 9, increasing all the time by exactly 1 on each step. The trailhead is any position that starts one or more hiking trails, so we always start at 0, and our goal is to establish the trailhead score, which is the number of 9 height positions reachable from the trailhead by a hiking trail. So you need to find all the 9s we can get to from each 0. Okay, so in this example, there are 36. The sum of all the scores of the zeros is 36. So this is our sample input that we can test on. And this should be reasonably easy. Basically, we can do either depth first or breadth first search from each of the zeros to see how many 9s we can get to from that specific 0. So let's try to see how that goes. So I will read all lines. So we'll do not read to end, but read all lines. And then we will do width, or actually let's put it here. So private int width, private int height, and we'll read it in. So width will be first lines width, then height will be a number of lines, although it's a count because it's a list. So now we create a map. So it's gonna be a private int map. And actually I'll use int there, even though it could be just characters, but this is going to be easier. So for y less than a height, and for x less than width, and I will do map xy equals lines y and x, and we have to subtract 0 so that we get the actual value of the number that's there. So that's reading the input, and now we need to figure out, we need to also set the map itself. And now we need to find all the zeros. So actually we can do a list position or point zeros, and if it's a 0, then we add it to the list. So now we can do total 0, and for each 0, and we will do get score. And the get score method will be quite easy, I think. So it's going to be get score point start. And what we will do is have a queue. I will do a breadth first search and in queue the start. And while there is something to so 9 counter, so start with 0. Or that's, yeah, the score. So we start with 0, and we'll get the first item on the queue, and if current now we can in queue. All right, we need to make sure that we also track what we visited. So hash set when visited. So we have to track that. So visited at. Well, we will add it when in queuing, right? So what I will do is if so our value is gonna be the current points value. If value is equals to 9, then we will increase the score and continue. Otherwise, we just search for the next step around us. So for each our direction in directions without diagonals, I think it's without diagonals, we will set the next, and basically exactly what they tell us here. So if it's in bounds, that's correct, and then if we didn't visit it before, so those two conditions there. So we also add the start itself, and we also need to make sure that the value is equal to +1 what we are on currently. So this way, and map next x next y equals value +1. So essentially making sure that we step only onto the very next level in terms of height. So this way we should be essentially done. So return score, and then finally we return the total there, and it's not going to be a void, it's going to be int. So yeah, unless I'm mistaken, we should be good to go with this. And I did put this data there? Yes, I did. So 36 is the result, and that matches the expected one. So let's save our full input data, and let's see what happens. Right, 538. And that is correct. Okay, so we have the first part done. Let's continue to part 2. So in the second part, they want to get a rating of the trailheads. And the rating is the number of distinct hiking trails which begin at that trailhead. So here's a single trailhead with 0. The rating is 3 because there are 3 distinct hiking trails that allow us to get there. So the three ways to get there. So this is a single trailhead with 13 ways to get to a 9. Okay, so we are looking for all the ways we can arrive to a 9, all the distinct ways we can arrive to a 9 from 0. So that's now we cannot use the same approach because here we are kind of avoiding revisiting the same location again. Question is, can I use breadth first search for this or not? Like if we go breadth first, well, yeah, we can actually try it quite easily, I think. So if you are not tracking the visited locations and essentially enqueuing the same location again, if we visit it again from a different direction, then technically every time we reach a 9, we should be able to increase the score safely because we got there in a different way from the previous approaches. But we'll have to confirm that it works against the test data, right? So 81 is the result, and it matches the result. I think it kind of makes sense because it gives us all the ways we can get to the 9 without having to change direction. So let's try it. What happens? So 1110, and that is correct. Okay, so that was quick actually. Yeah, well, it makes sense because we no longer track what we already visited, so we are able to revisit the same point again, and by revisiting it, we are enqueuing it, but we got there from a different way from the previous visit. So we will be processing the same node multiple times, which is not efficient, but overall we will get to the same 9s as before, but multiple times. So they will be counted for each of the ways we arrived at them. So that's pretty good. An alternative way would be to go from all the 9s and then kind of do a dynamic programming where we would go to all the 8s and count the ways we can get to them. And then from all the 8s, for all the 7s, we will sum the numbers of ways we got to 8s and so on. So we could kind of go number by number and ultimately arrive at 0s, which would then indicate the number of ways we could get to, number of ways we can get to 9s from the 0s, but that's just a different way to arrive at the same result. So this worked, and because the input wasn't that huge, it just wasn't a problem to re-enqueue the same things multiple times. So yeah, we're done here. So it was a quick one. Thank you for joining, and let's see if ChatGPT also can solve this problem. I will do another video on that. So see you there.